You're listening to episode 4 of the Afros and Pixie Dust podcast, Main Street Press with Britt and Leo. Hey, Dis friends. Welcome to episode 4 of the Afros and Pixie Dust podcast. I am your host, June. We're almost 1 month into this journey, and I hope you all have been enjoying this as much as I have. I'm happy to say that I think I'm starting to get a little used to this, so hopefully I'll sound less and less like a robot as time goes on. I'm so excited for you all to hear this week's episode. I had so much fun talking to this week's guests. Yes, there's 2 of them, and they are straight business couple goals. Britt and Leo are Florida natives who co-own Main Street Press, which is a Disney-inspired apparel company and print shop that is based in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And they are OGs in this game, y'all, circa 2016. This episode is a little longer than the others because I decided not to edit anything out and just let you hear it all in its entirety since I enjoyed this conversation so much. This is actually my first time ever speaking to Britt and Leo, besides a few DMs here and there with Britt, and I was really excited to finally get to talk to them and learn more about what they do. One thing I want to let you guys know before we get into this interview, for all of you listening in real time who are planning to be at either Disneyland or Walt Disney World next weekend, please be sure to stay tuned for a special announcement towards the end of the podcast. And now, let's get into my conversation with Britt and Leo. Hi guys, thanks for joining me.
Hello. Hey, June.
Hey. So I start off every episode with asking my guests to tell me a little bit about themselves. So can you do that for us?
Yeah, definitely. My name is Britt. I am in South Florida, and I am co-owner of Main Street Press with Leo.
She's so modest. She's my boss. She tells me what to do, and she pretty much keeps this thing running. So I'm Leo. I'm Brittany's husband, and yeah, we both
together we make up
like
Main
a superhero group. Together we're the Main Street Press.
That is so great. So are you guys originally from Florida?
Mm-hmm. Leo is actually a Florida native. He was born and raised here. I was born in New Jersey, but my family moved to South Florida when I was 4. So kind of consider myself a Florida native.
Yeah, she's Florida. She's Florida.
Awesome.
Well, people from New York and New Jersey are always like, "Yes, son, I'm from New York." But
you gotta represent. Like, come on.
Are you from up there?
I'm from New York, born and raised.
How long you been in Florida though?
I'm not in Florida. I'm in New York.
You're not in Florida.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were down here. Okay.
No, I just visit. I say like I would consider living there if the political climate changed just a little bit.
Yeah, it's a little wild down here.
Yeah.
You know, it's such a mixed bag. It's crazy. Like you go down the street and it's like Little Havana and or the Hood, and then you go down another street and it's like backwoods country. So you don't know what you're gonna get down here. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think I need to spend more time out of maybe the Disney World bubble and really see Florida.
That's another world.
Yeah.
Man. It's like saying New York is the Hamptons, and it's totally, or Times Square. It's a totally different thing when you start going into different boroughs and stuff. So like Disney World is like its own bubble, and then as soon as you get outside of that, it's totally different.
Yeah, I can imagine that, and I don't have that much family in Florida, so I don't spend that much time in any place but Disney World. So I think I need to spread my horizons, and then maybe I'll consider the relocation.
Mm-hmm. Where in New York are you? I didn't hear you say.
Oh, so I'm from the city. I'm from the Bronx. I was born and raised there, and I currently live in Westchester, I live like
Oh.
10 minutes away from where I grew up.
So we were not
Nice.
too far away when we were living up there. We were in Dutchess County. Which
Yeah,
is
we
down the
did
road.
actually live in New York for about 3 years,
Okay.
2015 to 2018.
Mm-hmm.
We relocated up
So
there.
like near
for
White
years.
Plains. We were close to White Plains.
Yeah. My husband's actually from White Plains.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
small world.
Yeah. So I'll call you, a cousin.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Now that we successfully derailed the podcast.
That's okay. That's okay. The whole point of this podcast is just to get to know all of my dis friends. So it's totally fine. When did your love of Disney start?
Just as a child, who doesn't love Mickey Mouse growing up? So definitely Mickey and Minnie, kind of my first openings to the Disney realm, and then obviously comes the princesses and all of that. So growing up in South Florida, we were pretty close to Disney World. We were about an hour and a half south of Disney World, on the east coast of Florida, a town called Palm City is where I grew up. So my family would go up to the parks about 3 times a year. We had the year pass. So Disney was always, part of me growing up.
Yeah, same thing with me. I got more into Disney after I got married to Britt, but I went, once or twice when I was a kid. But the Disney movies were more of a part of my life. Since when I was growing up, we didn't really have a whole lot, so we couldn't afford to go all the time. So my parents would just pop in, Aladdin was one of the go-tos, or Beauty and the Beast, and we grew up watching those movies. So it was a big part of my life in that sense, and musically too is a big part as well.
Do you consider yourselves 80s babies or 90s babies?
We are. What are
Are
we?
you Zennials
like a mix
or
of both.
millennials?
No,
we were both born in
85.
85.
We're right in the
Okay,
middle.
cool. I'm an 84 kid, so
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're for sure 80s. Like I have very early memories of like 88, 89, and 90.
Okay.
Or somewhat earlier.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but to the Disney community, man, we're like grandparents, I guess, in Disney years. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's like I was like, wow, I feel like a granny, but
I don't know if like a lot of people know how old we are, but
no, yeah, they think we're like 20 something. I'm like, dude,
We don't
I
get
am
asked
old
that.
as dirt. What are you talking about?
yeah, it's
we
so
old.
it is
We
kind of
old, y'all.
funny. It is kind of funny because like I meet up with people in the parks and I hear their ages. I'm like, whoa. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
cool, it's
So
cool.
we I think are the very, very beginning of the millennials, but we still grew up like without cell phones and played outside and all that good stuff.
Yeah. We witnessed the birth of the internet, which is insane.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yeah, I think they just renamed us Zennials.
Zennials?
So like
What's
Generation
that?
X and Millennial, like that in between.
In between
That little
Zennials.
gray area.
Yeah.
Yo, people all about titles, man.
Zennials?
That's funny.
It's crazy.
Well, labels in America, that's like
Everything.
goes hand in hand. What would you say would be your favorite Disney movies or like television shows?
She threw the television
Definitely, yeah, television shows. I gotta think of that. My favorite growing up was The Little Mermaid. Ariel was my favorite princess. I think that came out right around the time when I was like 5 or 6. So that was a really big movie for me.
I'm gonna go with the TV show this time.
Yeah, do a
because,
TV
man,
show.
I haven't answered
I gotta
that
think of
one.
that.
Yeah, mine was Darkwing Duck.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
And along with that was also Tailspin.
Yes.
Yeah, but Darkwing Duck was like
Those were always on.
Darkwing Duck. Yeah, it was fire.
Yeah.
I'm surprised there hasn't been more Darkwing Duck stuff because he was so cool, man.
They've brought him out a little bit lately with some meet and greets.
Let's get dangerous. That was awesome.
I will tell you that my very first Run Disney race, Darkwing Duck and Launchpad was there, and I barely ran that race, but I probably did like, I don't know, a split. I was like running so fast when I saw them. I was like, I'm getting on this line. I don't care if I don't finish, but I'm gonna take a picture with these guys.
Yeah, that's a photo op you can't miss.
Yeah, so yeah, they are definitely up there on the Zennial list, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
So I guess that kind of goes into my next question. Which characters do you identify with most?
Yeah, that's a good question too. We've never been asked that question. What character do you identify with?
Oh, I told you which I identify
Well,
with.
I already know who you are.
Yeah, you know who I am. Go.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
Okay. I was thinking about this. So I think one of the characters I kind of identify with is Woody from Toy Story. Just because he's a people person. He's a loyal friend. He always is like looking out for the other toys, making sure everyone's okay. And I feel like those are kind of qualities that I have. I'm a big people person, loyal to my friends, and I'm always making sure everyone's okay. You know what I mean? When we're out and about in group settings. So I feel like he's got some good qualities that I have too.
Yeah, I think for me, I relate to Aladdin because Aladdin, like I said, I didn't grow up having a whole lot, and he would want to do the right thing, or he was just trying to get stuff done, and sometimes he wouldn't do it the right way, but it all worked out at the end, and he ended up with a pretty fly girl at the end, so that's how I feel. I relate to Aladdin the most.
Okay, slide that in there. That's cool. Awesome. So as Disney fans, how do you like to express your fandom? Are you guys pin traders? Are you into ears? Are you?
Oh, yes. I recently have gotten into pin trading and I love it. I think it's so fun. So I always carry my pins now when I am at the parks, and I'm always looking out for like the cast member. It's like a really fun game to see what you can find, and the fact that you don't have to pay any money to. You're just trading out with people, and one man's trash could be another man's treasure. So it's really fun for me.
She's actually become like a little pin hustler. It's like hilarious. She'll walk away and be like, "Did you see what I got out of that?" I'm like, I don't understand it, but all right.
And like giving every cast member the eye that's got the lanyard on.
Yeah. Do you have like a certain like theme of pins that you go for?
Recently, well, I love Minnie Mouse, so anything like Minnie Mouse I try to get. So I've got a few of her, like the Minnie Ears collections. And then also, I've got a few really cool Pixar pins. I've got a little, on my pin board, I've got a Minnie section, a little princess section, a Pixar section. And then I'm trying to get more food pins, because who doesn't love food and snacks at Disney? So I'm trying to come up on my Disney snack pins.
Cool. What about you, Leo?
As far as the pins?
Or how you express your...
with me, I feel like I'm more of like I do like subtle stuff. I don't like kind of rocking all out, like, head to toe stuff. But like, for example, when we were living in the city, I would always like, is this in the parks or is this outside of the parks?
This is just how you are.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's what I thought. So yeah. So outside of the parks in particular, like, so Donald's like one of my favorite characters. And so like, I would always find a way to like work Donald Duck into like what I was wearing or rocking. So like, if I was wearing like a blue blazer, I would have like a little Donald pin, or I'd rock my little Donald Vans, or I'd always put a little splash of like Donald Duck or those color vibes into what I was wearing.
You had your backpack too.
Yeah, my little bag. So I like small pieces that'll kind of bring it all together. I don't like splashing Mickey across my body.
Accessorizing.
Yeah, I like to accessorize with it.
Yeah.
Would you say Donald Duck is like your spirit animal?
Yes, for sure.
Cool.
Man,
definitely.
For sure. Same thing too. He's just misunderstood.
Yeah.
He's just misunderstood.
Like literally.
Yeah, exactly. Like the backpack I have, it has him like cursing all over the place, and then the my coffee mug that
He's actually wearing a Donald shirt right now.
I am wearing a Donald shirt right now. Yeah.
It couldn't get any better.
Yeah, I love Donald. Yep.
Oh, that's so awesome. So nowadays, how often would you say you go to the parks?
These days, okay, so now after we moved back from New York, we relocated to South Florida. So that's where Leo's from originally. So we're in Fort Lauderdale. So that puts us about 3.5-hour drive to the parks. So I try to get up I probably go maybe like once a month at least. You probably go like every other month or so?
Yeah, I go like in between. So for me, it's kind of hard because now that we've kind of branched into other work and stuff, and I do a lot of the printing, it's kind of hard to like leave the office alone and stuff. So I'll be here, and then if Brittany needs help shooting some content, or if I just need to just get away, I'll head up. But I go kind of every other trip for Britt to be up there.
Okay, so I have to be strategic about getting to the park to meet you guys then.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if we know, we always tell everyone, like, if you know ahead of time kind of when you're coming, since we're not, it's like we're not super close, we're not so far either. So yeah, let us know and we can make plans to meet up.
It's so hard, you know, like, because there's such a community down there that's like there all the time. And so it's kind of hard, especially if you have like a little mission of stuff to do. And then on top of that, if you actually want to enjoy yourself, it gets really, really hard to kind of like coordinate because every little time you stop and meet people, which we love doing, but next thing you know, the whole day is like gone. It's like fireworks are starting.
Yeah.
Or there's sometimes too when we're on a trip with family or friends, so then it's hard to be stopping all the time because they want to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, if we know ahead of time, we definitely can plan out, grab some food or something.
Yeah, for sure. We're always down to eat something.
Same. So that brings me to my next question. Which park would be your favorite?
Mine is Magic Kingdom. Although I feel like I've been finding myself at Epcot more often these days.
Fun, man.
Epcot kind of has like year-round festivals now, but my forever favorite is always Magic Kingdom. I just love the feeling of walking in there and seeing the castle and you know, so many of the rides, especially like Fantasyland, brings you back to those, you know, early childhood movies and stuff. So that one's my personal favorite.
Yeah, man.
But you like?
I'm Animal Kingdom guy. All day, every day. Yeah.
Animal Kingdom has the best food and drinks.
Yeah, Animal Kingdom. Listen,
sure.
Animal Kingdom is slept on so hard, and honestly, people are lucky we've been busy and haven't been busting down some more Animal Kingdom swag because I love Animal Kingdom and just everything about it is just there's so much stuff there.
You love all the details in the park.
Yeah, you just walk around there. I don't know how much time you spend in there, June, but if you walk around there, especially like near Harambe, peep the garbage cans. You think it's been vandalized. People put stickers and stuff. Man, they actually designed all of those little things, little stickers, you know, the hand-painted signs, like all this stuff.
Even on the rooftops, we noticed one of our past trips, on the rooftops of some of the buildings in Africa, they have furniture and, you know, it's all set up like real
people live there.
Homes.
That's pretty cool.
It's very detailed.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah.
Okay, I got to start looking up. I'm usually looking down to make sure the kids aren't like disappeared, but
yeah, definitely. There's a lot going on there.
So what section of Animal Kingdom is your favorite?
I think Africa, right?
Yeah, I mean, I like Africa. I like Asia too.
Asia's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
We got to go to Thailand last year. Was it?
2 years ago.
It was in November of 2016. No.
2017.
In November of 2017, we got to go to Thailand, and we were like really impressed by how many details the Imagineers put into Asia that they really have over there, like the little tuk-tuk bikes and the boats in that lake that's in the middle there. Like, it's all so legit.
It's very similar. And like the thing that kind of was surprising was, like I said, when you go, like Brittany said, when you go to Thailand or anywhere, Asia, Southeast Asia, like here we take for granted like signs. People can just go to a sign store, print this stuff out. Out there, like people are hand painting this stuff, and it's a lot of work involved. And when you go to Disney, for example, over Animal Kingdom in Asia, you'll see like a big hand painted Coca-Cola sign. And I mean, I've seen that literal sign all over the place out there, and I was just like, man, this is so cool. They gave a nice touch. It didn't feel very cookie cutter or like this is what an American thinks this looks like. It's pretty average. Pretty spot on.
Yeah.
Do you guys follow Joe Road?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, we loved it already.
Yeah.
He posed. Well, somebody took a picture. Actually, Disney Foodies
Yeah.
took a picture with him in our Jumbo shirt. They were wearing the Jumbo shirt, and they took a picture with him.
They happened to meet him one day in the park.
It's so cool.
Wow. So he's amazing. Like,
yeah, dude.
The things that he can think of and create is just...
He's always posting, like, cultural art and stuff, and he's like, I spent 3 weeks in Malaysia. You're like, gosh, you got the coolest job.
Tell me about it. Like, just live one day.
Well, his story's crazy, though. I listened to a podcast. I think it was I forget what podcast it was, but they had him on there, and he started talking about how he came in and he was working on, like, Epcot and working on stuff when they first started out. And that guy's just a genius. So cool.
Definitely. Yeah, he's amazing. I'm like, Disney cannot let him go.
No, right?
Yeah. So, let's talk about your business. Can you tell me a little bit about Main Street Press and how you got started?
Yeah. So, if you don't know, our company is Main Street Press, and we make Disney-inspired apparel and accessories. So we got started with it back in February of 2016, kind of on Etsy as a little bit of a hobby. We put up a couple of designs. The reason that we even got into it was because obviously growing up in South Florida and having that connection to Disney, I was finding myself always looking online for unique things to wear when I went to Disney myself. So it kind of gave us an idea to start putting out some designs, things that I was trying to find that was missing. So we started kind of creating those designs and putting them out on Etsy, and the result was very positive.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting to kind of see that, like how it started out, because it came from a place of just seeing what people were doing and then wanting to kind of add your own touch to it or contribute to what that community was doing. So it was cool. Like, there was a handful of shops, Happily Ever was out and a couple other ones. And we were just like, man, I think we could bring something cool and unique to this. So it kind of came from a place of, how can we add our own little touch to something and bring something new and fresh? Like one of the first things we did was like, man, let's think of attractions that we're big fans of that no one's really showing any love to, because princesses are popular and all the big stuff is popular, but like Animal Kingdom, not so much, they weren't really doing. Even now, like the merch is slowly getting nice at Animal Kingdom. People Mover, they just now, like a few months ago, dropped the People Mover shirt, but there wasn't anything really going on for that. So we were like, man, let's show some love to the underappreciated stuff that Disney goers see all the time. So that's kind of where that came from. And we were hoping, man, it'd be great if we can sell 20 shirts or 30 shirts is what we were hoping. We were like, man, we need to sell this many shirts for it to make any sense. And it ended up,
not to make it sound super easy, because the first night that we opened,
Brittany was depressed.
I was so depressed. We sold one
to like our friend.
We sold one shirt.
Yeah, to like one of our friends. She bought a DJ Khaled Disney shirt or something. I forget.
Oh my gosh, we had this DJ Khaled design. I forgot about.
Oh my God, I have to see that design.
Oh man, that's so incredibly shocking to me that we know people that didn't know.
It was like DJ Khaled. Oh my goodness, there's probably so many people that don't know about that design.
Yeah.
It was DJ Khaled when he was, really popular, and it was him wearing Mickey ears, and it said, "They don't want you to go to Disney."
Oh my God, that's a good one. Wow.
So yeah, we sold one shirt our opening night.
Okay. I mean, one's a start, right? Everyone has to start somewhere. And look at where you are now.
Exactly. Exactly. So you can't give up, right?
Yeah.
Even if...
So how do you come up with your designs?
So yeah, it's a lot of times it's things that we take from what we like. So personal attractions or movies or phrases or characters. Also, nowadays too, we still try to look into what's underappreciated. So we've got a few designs coming out of things that haven't really been touched yet. So just a lot of research. We'll look at what's going on at the parks, any current events that are happening, festivals.
And we still haven't deviated though from our original formula, which is like, let's just try to show some love to some of the stuff that's being like overlooked. So we're working on some stuff now that's pretty everyone loves this, but no one really, there's nothing really for it. So we're always trying to look at that angle. Like, man, is there something that we all know and love about Disney that hasn't really been expressed? You know, because it's there. You just kind of got to like step back and see. You know?
Yeah. So you're repping the underdog. I love that.
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
Right up my alley.
Yeah.
So in addition to t-shirts, do you guys sell anything else?
Yeah, so we have we created a travel case about 2 years ago. November 2017 it launched. So it's a travel case that you use. This was the time when we were living in New York. So for the first time really in my life, I was on the other side, you know, like the other shoe, where I'm now having to fly down to Florida to go to Disney. So that was like really new for me and different, and having to pack my things. So now I understand what all the out-of-state Disney goers have to go through. So, you know, packing that bag and making sure all your ears and pins stay safe and secure, you know, was kind of becoming a little bit of a mission for me. So we were like, there should be, you know, a bag made to carry your ears and blah, blah, blah. So, you know, I started thinking of different ideas and designs. And so we finally came out with this prototype that we made literally out of cardboard.
Yeah. We still have it.
Yeah, we still have it. Leo grabbed like a box and literally just ripped it up and made this box bag. And, you know, a year later, this was back in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
So it took us about a year to find the right manufacturer, to get the samples right, to the size and proportions to how we wanted it to be easy enough to travel with. And it launched in November 2017. So we call it our Park Pack, PARC, Park Pack.
Cool.
So we have that is our biggest accessory that we sell, along with
we made some shirts and stuff too from time to time. We like doing some different
pins and patches.
Pins, shirts. Like some of the shirts that we'd have like manufactured, where it's like, you know, nice embroidered. Like we did an Oh Boy shirt that was like embroidered and screen printed, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But for the most part, the bag is like, that's been a really big focus, and it takes a lot of energy to kind of get. It's nuts. Like, okay, getting one product from China or whatever, bringing it over. Like if you ordered something from like, you know, I guess a popular website would be like Alibaba or whatever. But like we're actually dealing with factories, dealing with like patterns, dealing with shipping hundreds of bags over that. That takes a lot of energy. So I don't want to do any more. We're tired.
I can imagine. And then like the customs and all that.
Yeah.
When we brought the last shipment in, it was in New York, man. And Kennedy is like the word JFK. That port where it's coming in, they do not play any games. They open boxes, they rip stuff up. They're looking in there, and it was wild. So we're hoping Florida will be a little bit easier this time around.
So dealing with overseas manufacturers, like, do you have to travel overseas, or can you just do it all virtually?
We've been able to do it all virtually. We have hired people to go and inspect, who are stationed over there to inspect, to make sure everything's being done, obviously, like ethically. So, you know, we have people who can go inspect the bags for us, since we can't physically be there.
Yeah, so, and I pretty much handle all the communications with our factories over there. Brittany calls them my Chinese girlfriends, because I'm up at like 3 a.m. because it's like
the time difference.
The time difference.
Yeah. And
so I'll be there talking to them, and they'll be showing me pictures and samples, and they send us books to confirm fabric swatches, and it's a lot of stuff, but it's pretty fun. It's fun to see it.
It's been cool, to see that.
See it all come together.
That manufacturing process.
Wow. Yeah, that sounds amazing. It sounds like it's a really exciting thing to like have a concept and be able to take it, you know, to an actual, you know, item, and now people love it.
Yeah, it's been fun. Not for sure. I mean, there's tons of challenges. We got stacks of failed concepts of this. Like we have a couple back there, it was too fat, or the buckles were not right, or whatever. But we're extremely fortunate that our girl Sue, for our manufacturer, who's like really, really, really diligent. She's their production manager, and man, she would just down to the detail. You know, the thing that I didn't account for that was weird, and I didn't realize it until after we started, like when we started making pins, I realized it, is that like phones in China, the some of them, when they take photos, the colors are like totally off. And so like, yeah, like they'll take a picture and what looks like green here or what's green over there will look blue here because their cameras are like kind of janky. And so like if someone's sending you photos, we've said, man, make sure you're confirming with Pantone books and physical samples because man, pictures, man, how many times did we freak out? Remember the first freak out with the bags? Yeah. I was like, that is not red. That is not red. Like going crazy. So we had to learn that, yeah, the camera
just go off of the Pantone. And all will be well.
I would have never thought that because most electronics are, manufactured, in Asia. So you would think it would kind of be the same. But...
yeah, but there's like a lot of like bootleg phones, man. Like they'll send you the picture and they'll just, or like the lighting will be funny or whatever. So
yeah, just use the factory lighting too.
Yeah, use the book. Pantone book.
Okay, I see now.
Sorry, we went off another side road there.
Open your eyes to the world of manufacturing.
Exactly. Someone might be listening and want to do it and not know that they need to refer to Pantone. So now they do. So
yeah, no, it's important.
Every bit of information is valuable.
Yes.
So you guys just opened up your shop in Florida. How's that going now?
It's going really good. We are here in Oakland Park. So again, we're on the east coast of Florida, but a little further south, right by Fort Lauderdale. So we've got our office space here up and running. And since we've gotten down here too, we've started to take on a little bit more commercial work. So in addition to our retail website where we sell our Disney inspired designs, we now have a website linked to it where people can get custom stuff for their business, maybe a school or, other organizations. We can do projects for them.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We've really kind of, I don't know, we felt like for us printing our designs has been a lot of fun and it's been great. And we still do a ton of it, which is awesome. But it's also, I kind of get bored with stuff and it's been cool to kind of get other people that have been wanting to get into making shops and making their own products or other businesses that have ideas and they don't know where to start. It's been nice to kind of guide people down that process. And we've made some cool relationships with other designers that are also doing the same, like our buddy Aaron from the Lost Boys Club. Man, between us and Justin from Walt's Wardrobe, ourselves, we've kind of been able to help other people get some of their ideas out into the world, and kind of watching that flourish has been fun. So it's almost kind of like starting other people's dreams, which is
neat. We've kind of all become like a little team of almost consulting type.
Like consultants.
Some of the guys that have a little more stronger graphic design background, and then with the printing side of things. So we've been able to, like Leo said, help other people start, fulfilling their dreams of opening.
So like out of all the shops that had opened up, there's a handful of them that really do their own print work. And it's not even like, for us, it's because we actually like to do it. Like I enjoy printing. It's frustrating as I don't know what, it's extremely frustrating at times, but it's very rewarding when you're able to kind of get it all together and make it work. So through the last 3 years of us just trial by error and having to deliver to our customers, because people aren't going to pay 20-something bucks for a crappy shirt. They want good quality. So we've kind of forced ourselves to a certain standard because people are paying good money for this stuff. So yeah, it's been really cool to put those skills to use. What we've been learning through our service to our customers, being able to give that to everyone that comes into this office and asks for something, we're able to give them that quality back. So they really like the retail quality out the gate.
Okay. Now you guys have given me some ideas. So next time I want a shirt done, I'm not going to be pulling my hair out of my basement anymore. I'm just going to call you guys.
Yeah, we already pulled ours out, so you don't have
to. I know I have like maybe 3 strands left anyway, but. So screen printing, why did you guys choose that route?
Well, when we were coming up with these ideas, for these shirts, or, you know, knowing that we kind of wanted to start making some designs, Leo does have, obviously, you know, cost comes into factor. So how can we keep our costs low, especially when you're first starting up a business? So we try to use as many of our own resources as we can. So Leo's really strong with graphic design. And we started looking at videos of screen printing online to see how the process even worked. And we bought a little press off Amazon and started trying.
Yeah, I knew that for sure we didn't want to do the heat press angle, because the only thing I knew about making t-shirts, that there was in my brain, there was only one real way to make it, which was screen printing. That's like, you know, I bought a lot of graphic tees growing up because I used to skateboard a lot and surf. So I would go to the surf shop and buy these shirts. So I knew that the result I wanted, and it was made by screen printing. So I was like, all right. And I knew in the past I had bought like heat pressed stuff, and it just, you know, it didn't look quite right to me. Other people don't mind. And there's some instances where it does look good, like for sports attire and stuff like that. But for the most part, I was like, no, there's no way. So then I just started trying to figure out what is the cheapest way for us to get a press. How can we find, like, what is the cheapest press we can get? And that was a horrible idea, because with the screen printing equipment, the cheaper it is, the harder it is to use. So like the cheaper it is, the more basic it is, which makes learning harder. So if I were to give anybody advice, if they want to get into printing, not making t-shirts, like if you want to get into printing, like you can make t-shirts without having to print. You just send it to somebody. But if you really are into printing, invest a little bit extra money up front and get something decent so that learning it isn't so hard and you won't quit.
And Craigslist is amazing when it comes to finding equipment.
Well, New York is amazing too, though, because let me tell you, we went into like some Russian guy's basement in Coney Island. Okay, I texted Britt, and I
had like a wad of cash.
Yeah, Brittany had the cash in the car, and I went down into this basement to go get it from this Russian guy. And I was like, I texted Britt. I said, Britt, I don't know if I'm coming out, so be ready to call the cops if I don't come back.
And he was getting rid of a screen
everything we
press.
have now. Yeah, he got rid of the press, the dryer, the flash dryer. Yeah.
Some squeegees.
So, Craigslist. Shout out to Craigslist. Shout out to Coney Island.
Yeah. I've gotten some jewels in New York.
Yeah.
Yes. You have pretty much anything you can ask for.
Yeah. New York is great. New York is great.
So on average, how long does it take to make a single t-shirt?
That's a loaded question, though, because do you mean like once everything's been prepared to print?
So what is your process, like, from, I guess, start to finish? Is that more than?
No, we can summarize it. So basically, obviously, once we have our design, we have our idea, we start sketching. We both have sketchbooks. We keep at our nightstands, so we'll usually sketch a little bit at night. Once we have that down, Leo puts that into a computer program, Illustrator, right?
Mm-hmm.
He uses Illustrator to scan it in, obviously, like refine it, make the lines sharp and all that. So once the design is actually done, we print it on a large transparency. Like, if you remember those transparencies they used to use in school.
Yes,
right on. Yeah. So we have like really big ones like that. We'll print the design out on, and then we have to burn that design into a screen. So it's kind of like developing how they used to develop film, like in a dark room.
Mm-hmm.
So same kind of concept. We have a dark room that has the red lights we can turn on because it's light sensitive. We burn the design onto our screen, and once the screen is prepared, we can then start printing. So this is the process we have to do every time, and if it's a multicolor design, each color is its own screen, so like for our Mind Train t-shirt, I think that's like a 6-color design. So we're, there's 6 different screens you have to prepare for this one design. So the more colors, the more complicated, obviously, for that. But same process we have to do if we're making one shirt versus 300 shirts. So, obviously volume, the greater volume, the better, because the time is the same.
Okay, I see. Wow, that's amazing. Like, kudos to you guys for your creativity and your dedication, because I probably would like quit after the third screen or something. That's amazing, but you
Shout
guys
out to
love it. So,
YouTube.
and
Yeah,
it
you
shows.
too.
It shows. And,
Thanks.
wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, so it's a whole process.
Yeah, awesome. So have you guys always wanted to be entrepreneurs?
Yeah, I think so, right? We've always kind of wanted to do our
Yeah, we almost bought like a fashion boutique in downtown Stewart, like where the little town that we lived in Florida. Like there was this lady that we knew, and she was kind of like getting crazy, and she was mismanaging her business in this downtown area. So we were so close to purchasing her business and having a fashion boutique, but then
so kind of along the similar lines.
yeah, that didn't happen. But yeah, we've always been like trying to do something for ourselves.
Yeah, my background is accounting and finance is what I went to school for. So I actually worked before Main Street Press. I worked for 11 years at an accounting firm. And Leo has a background in like everything, but he was doing real estate, and then before that, some like music production stuff. So I think being an entrepreneur definitely, I think, is goals for anyone, really.
Yeah, working for yourself is probably the best fulfillment there is.
Yeah.
Make your own hours.
Sure.
Well, sort of, but yeah.
So to speak, yeah. I feel, Leo was just saying last night, like anytime that, you can, when you're working for yourself, it's so hard, but also so rewarding. And anytime that you can, open up that door the next morning and turn on the lights, that it's
a victory.
fulfilling.
Yeah. Every day that you're in business for yourself, it doesn't matter if you made $1, doesn't matter if you made $1,000, doesn't matter if you made $1 million. If you are able to work for yourself and do something for yourself, I think that's a victory, right? Like, I think that counts as a victory. I mean, it's not easy, but it's a victory.
Yeah. So how long from when you started this venture till now did it take for you guys to do this like full time?
6 months.
Wow.
6 months. I mean, at the time there were really maybe like 4 or 5 other shops making Disney shirts. Like there was really no one. So we were able to pick up growth like pretty rapidly. Also thanks to a few people who like, shared our designs too. So we were able to experience the growth a little faster.
It's definitely not the same now.
Today.
Yeah, right now, like it's totally different. It's like it's hard. There's so many brands. So unless you're doing something drastically different or bringing something incredibly unique to the table, the growth is much slower. It's, at least in the t-shirt world, you know what I mean? So we were extremely blessed to kind of jump in at the time that we did, because it allowed us to gain some steam, build a rapport, build a reputation, and then all we've done now is just try to maintain that and add to it. But we've just been kind of maintaining it,
Yeah, that's insane. I thought I played with the idea very briefly of getting into the Disney clothing, but I knew pretty early that it would be a little difficult for me to keep up. But I saw you guys and I was just like so impressed, and I just love you guys' story. I love that.
When did you find us? How long did you find us?
Being an old lady Disney, lover.
Yeah.
I joined Instagram maybe like a year and a half ago. So I would say maybe about then I might have found you guys.
Oh.
Yeah, I think I started seeing you with your Disney bound.
Yeah, probably like last February. I kind of like really put myself,
because you were also a fellow Run Disney racer. So I'm always like looking and searching like Run Disney people, because I love to see everyone who's struggling.
Yes. Yeah, always and with the back of the pack.
Yeah, and then also with your Disney bounds. So that's how I came across you. and being like a family that's coming down to Disney, just like reminding me of.
We've seen you in the parks.
Yes, I saw June. It was for Toy Story Land, and I didn't realize it.
Yes. You were there. Is it your husband?
You were wearing like Barbie,
right?
A Barbie gown.
Yeah, we saw you.
And it was
you're carrying a camera too, weren't you? Was that her with the camera or no?
No, I didn't have it. I don't think I had a camera. Oh, maybe my husband had a camera. I don't know.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yeah, yes, I saw this. Yes, I saw you.
We're on your Instagram right now.
Okay.
I saw you. Yeah, we saw you.
Yeah, and it wasn't until after the fact, because I think I had like just started following you, and after the fact I was like, oh, that was Frozen Fantasyland.
That's hilarious. Yeah, and you took that picture in a Flower Child shirt. Yeah, okay. I didn't know who we were talking to at first, because the names, we've done like a couple podcasts recently, and we've been so busy recently with shops. I'm horrible with names. So, okay, yeah, cool. I know exactly.
He has to like see the face.
I'm such an idiot.
So now he knows.
Yeah,
sure.
No, we saw you for sure, and we didn't.
Yeah, I definitely saw you that day. But it was so crazy that day. That crowd was like
everyone
out
and their
control.
mom was out.
Yeah, that it's funny because when I was getting this podcast started, I did like some dry runs with the kids and my husband, and I talked to them about that day opening Toy Story Land, and the theme that came from it was like, we will never do that again.
That was crazy.
It was intense.
It was.
Hey, you got a picture here at Frozen. We saw the opening when they did the tests for Frozen on Broadway.
Yeah.
We went. They were so good. It was so good.
That play was really good.
I still don't know how they did Sven. That junk was nuts.
Yeah. And it's one guy.
Yeah, it's one guy. They showed a video on their Instagram of kind of how he did it, but man, he must be exhausted by the end of that.
Yeah, he must be really good at yoga.
Right?
Yeah, but no, that show was really, 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 really good. Did I say enough, please? It was really good. I took my daughter for her 6th birthday, and I dressed up as Anna, and she dressed up as Elsa, and then we went to Max Brenner before that, for the chocolate kind of theme.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that was a fun birthday for her.
So cute.
So we're wrapping it up soon, but I had a couple more questions for you. Do you have any advice for people interested in starting a small business? I guess you kind of touched on it a little bit, but maybe one tip.
Oh, I got a good one for sure, which is, man, it's so easy for everyone to just open something like on Instagram, but I think recently we've kind of had a focusing like building real life relationships with people within your community. Instagram it's easy, right? Like you can just throw some money at some ads, pop some stuff up, get some influencers to post your stuff, and maybe it'll go viral, maybe it won't. But for whatever your business is, what you're doing, try to build some roots and build with the community that's around you. Like, so when we started off, it still is, but at the time it was a tight-knit community of people that were passionate about Disney, right? So with whatever it is, if you're making surfing stuff, if you're making bike riding stuff, or you're a trombone player and you want to make things for trombone players, whatever it is, try to connect with the people within that community locally, build something around you locally and people around you, and then find those people online and build that too. But it's really important because Instagram can go away tomorrow. Like, we can make no more posts on Instagram and still sell shirts because we stay in touch with people via email and our mailing list, and people know about us in real life. So I would suggest build relationships with people in your community, build relationships in real life, be a part of what's going on around you, not just in your phone, and that'll help solidify what you got going on. Does that make sense, Britt? I think it makes sense. I think it makes sense.
Yeah. I think that makes sense.
That was actually really great because it is true. Like, I mean, was it last week that Instagram and Facebook kind of like blacked out?
We didn't even notice.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't even notice,
# Instagram.
Yeah.
it was kind of like, I think for all of us businesses, it was a little like nice, like break.
I can imagine.
Man.
But yeah, I mean, think of if that was it, you know, if it was no more, and if your business was Instagram centered and focused, like where would you have been?
You know, as it is right now, Facebook and Instagram hold your platform hostage, right? The moment you hit a certain follower count, they expect you to start feeding them. And by feeding them, I mean paying them. Okay, for you to reach all the people that you have garnered. Like, people hit the follow button to see your content, and they deliberately do not show it to them because they want revenue. So if you're basing your entire business plan on another business allowing you access to your customers, like, no one would give you money for that. So I would say,
yeah, we're always super strong proponents on building
mailing lists, building relationships locally, and build a community locally that's not just based on what you got going on online.
That's really great advice, because I feel like people don't want to connect. Like they want to connect, but a lot of times people want to connect so that other people see that they're connecting, you know? And so, you know, one thing that I do like about social media is the fact that you can find people that you may not have been able to have found maybe in your backyard.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's
sure.
It's great.
But that's just the start, you know. And once you've made that relationship, then if you want to continue and cultivate it, you have to actually really, you know, maintain it in other ways than just, you know, liking someone's post and they like yours, or, you know, you have to build that friendship.
You got to like create content together, like do stuff together, you know, post things that people can interact with. But no, you're 100% right. But Instagram is a platform finding new people, and so, man, it's incredible. So if that's what you're using it for, to create and connect, great. But as a business person, if you are banking on Instagram being your friend and putting money in your pocket, forget that, man. You're destined to, that's a losing plan.
Oh yeah. Okay. Really good to know. Really great stuff, guys. All you budding entrepreneurs out there, I hope you're listening. So what was one thing about yourselves that you would want everyone to know that maybe they don't know?
I don't know.
I know this is the stumper question. Like, people have a hard time answering.
That's a good question that you want people to know about you that they don't know. Yeah, I guess since like I'm really direct and forward about stuff, but I'm also like I'm an emotional person, so like I'll tell you how I feel, and I'm really sympathetic to a lot of people, so much so that like I've taken personal loss in trying to help people sometimes. So I may appear to be a certain way or like be confident when I speak and whatnot, but for the most part, I consider myself like a really caring person. And sometimes, you know, it stinks, man. It looks like your husband's a pretty big guy. How tall is your husband?
He's like 6'2".
Yeah, you see, and he's a big dude. He looks strong. Like he's a big guy, and like, I'm 6'4", you know. And the immediate thought that people think is like, oh man, that guy's like tough or this, that, you know, or maybe he's not like the nicest guy. Like immediately that's the thought. Like I'm telling you, man, like it's the thought. And so I would like people to know that I'm actually really, really, really sensitive. I'm extremely sensitive.
You're a gentle giant.
I'm a big teddy bear.
Big teddy bear. Yeah, a lot of times when we meet people in person, they don't realize like how tall Leo is.
Yeah, they're like, you're a giant.
And they're like, whoa.
It's true. Like in your pictures, I wouldn't have thought that you were tall.
Yeah, you can't really tell, I don't think.
Well, I position Brittany too. I'm like, you're up front, I'm in the back.
He's 6'4", I'm 5'5", so there's a little bit of a height difference there between the two of us. I don't know if people know about me. I'm one of 3 girls, so I'm the oldest. So I have 2 younger sisters who also are very big Disney fans, and they both also live in Florida. One in West Palm and one in Jacksonville. So whenever we can get together and go to the parks, it's always a super fun time. So
that's amazing that you can share that with sisters.
Yeah, definitely.
So where can people find you if they don't already know?
So if you're not already following us, what are you doing? You can find us at Main Street Press. We're on all social medias. Instagram is probably what we use the most, but Instagram, Facebook, occasional Twitter. I am pretty heavy on Pinterest. So Main Street Press. Our website is themainstreetpress.com. And that's it, right?
You find me on TikTok. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's us. You know where to find us.
I want to say thank you guys so much for taking the time out of your busy day to talk to me. I'm just really happy to find, all these different types of Disney fans and all these, different just Disney fans of color that are in the community that people may not know or people may not realize. Like, we're out here and we're into so many different facets of the Disney community, and I just want to highlight us all. And I want us to all get to know each other and all, build with each other. So if you guys are out there, please definitely support this shop. They do great work.
You need to holler at Tiffany. You got to holler at Tiffany too. Yellow Brick Girl.
Yes. She's on my list. I have a list.
Yeah, and Erica.
I'm trying to do it weekly.
Erica Enchanted. Yeah.
We've gotten to hang with them.
We're out there. I mean, it's like, it's one of those things where it's like you look at it and you look at the representation. And you could edit this out if you want. If you feel
oh no,
I'm just gonna talk.
Real talk.
Yeah,
real talk. Like you look at the representation, you look at it, and Disney itself has really tried hard to be inclusive, and I get it. But
their commercials are very inclusive.
Yeah, Brittany and I will be watching, be like, ooh, whoa, okay, nice, I see you. But you look at it in the Insta community and stuff like that, and you look at kind of what's viewed as popular or viewed as beautiful, and you don't really see a lot of that diversity. So we've really kind of taken a stance of we really try to support any of our friends of color in their ventures and what they're trying to do, because I mean, there are some very real challenges involved with that, some that I will not outline, but they're out there. They're real challenges. There are conceptions, there are biases, and the crazy thing is, if you address it and bring it up, you instantly feel repercussions and backlash, and you feel a consequence in doing so. Am I wrong in that, Britt? Like it's been noted by people before, and you see followers fall, you see likes stop, and so it's a very real.
Even in our posts, because we try to be as diverse as we can with what we're sharing and customers who are wearing our stuff, because it's nice to see people that represent you when you're looking at any company's website or pages, and you see the difference in like the response.
Oh yeah, you can A/B a post and look and see like, oh man, I used this kind of model for this and I used this kind of model for that, and like you see, and literally they'll be like very similar pictures and you see a difference. It's just like a cycle, because then it makes like, black girls or brown girls or Asian girls, whatever, feel like, well, why even take the time to share this and post it if it's not going to receive any kind of, engagement and stuff. So I think we've got a ways to go when it comes to that, but we're trying to do as much as we can to change that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You guys are so right.
Is that too spicy?
I used the term black girl in one of my posts. And it was a picture I had posted like a while ago, and it was like people went crazy over it, but I had like reposted it because I was just like, I couldn't be bothered one day, and I was like, I'm just gonna post this, whatever. And it was like 3 people. Like, it was like the engagement was dropped, and I was like, I don't even care. I'm gonna say what I have to say because the people that need to hear it are gonna hear it. And I'm not saying it for everyone, and I'm not saying it, to get the exposure. I'm saying it for the people that I want to talk to,
that you engage with.
No, it's real. It's very real, man. And I don't want to go down a crazy path where it's like you're a social activist, and no, but I'm Cuban. I'm Afro-Cuban. My mom's black Cuban, and my dad's white Cuban. Brittany's Jamaican Guyanese. We are far away from the spectrum that you would consider, I guess you would say like Caucasian or white or whatever. We're definitely brown people, and so we're in this community, and we see it. And so all you can do is kind of try to subtly highlight it and kind of shine a light on it without, without sounding like you're crazy.
Right. Without, yeah.
So,
Going all the way.
But definitely through like connecting
yeah,
and engaging,
supporting one another.
Yeah, is definitely taking the right steps.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's true. And I'm just happy that I'm finding, all of these people, because I said this story before, but like, before I learned about Instagram or took the plunge, I was, an old lady on Facebook, and and I had been a part of a Disney fan group on Facebook for a while, and whenever I would say something, it would be like I would talk about like, the Bibbidi Boppity Boutique, and like, oh, if I bring my daughter there, would they even know what to do with her hair? And I was like, of course, the stylists know how to treat any kind of hair. And I'm like, yeah, you don't have this experience, do you?
Sure, yeah.
You really, you don't understand what I'm asking. And so, that's the kind of like reception you get. Like people don't understand, and they kind of gaslight you and make you feel like what your concerns are not real. And they are.
Yeah.
And it helps to have people that understand where you're coming from to give you that advice. And so that's kind of why I wanted to make this podcast in the first place. I wanted, people of color to hear the stories of other people of color and not feel like it's weird, because there are people of color that love Disney. There are Black people that love Disney, and it's okay. And you can have people that you can talk to and hear, their stories and hear about their pin trading, and, and we make shirts and we have businesses.
What's crazy is like, I grew up, I'm not gonna say I grew up in the hood. I grew up in lower income areas in Miami, and I got a good friend of mine. His name is Ray. Shout out Black Disney.
Yes, yes.
So he's a good buddy of mine and stuff. And so we grew up together. He's a little bit older than me, but we grew up kind of in the same social bracket, so to speak. And we didn't go to Disney as kids. But now that we're older and we're successful adults and we have a little extra money, we're able to go. We don't have kids, but he's got kids. And he has brought them into this whole upbringing and tradition of going to Disney and going camping at Fort Wilderness. And just to see what those kids are getting to experience is so awesome. And, it's so cool to see someone that didn't grow up with that, didn't have any of that, but is experienced in as an adult and is bringing his kids into that and teaching them and showing them about that and giving them that little tradition. So it's been pretty cool to watch that happen. And I guess the point I'm trying to make is having more people, more brown people, more minorities, whatever, go to the parks and do that, I think is an awesome experience, because you're exposing them to a lot of cool things. And it's not something that should be only a certain part of society should be able to experience that. You know what I mean? Everyone should be able to get that. I wish I got that when I was a kid. I only got it once. I had to share a churro with my brother because we couldn't buy more than one. You know what I mean? But we got in the park, and it was good enough. But man, these kids are getting the whole experience. So the more people are sharing and doing that, the more comfortable we'll be in the community. The more kids will get to have fun and experience that. And they become Imagineers, they become content producers, they become artists, all kinds of stuff. So it's a good
thing. Like they learn that there's so much out there in the world that they can do, that they can be. Like, like growing up, my mom's Jamaican, and so you get that.
Wagwan.
You get that. You doctor or lawyer, and you can only be these two. But there's other parts of the world where you can be successful. But you don't necessarily get to see those things because you don't get that exposure, because, you don't get the access to that. And you don't necessarily get the opportunity to dream because you have to focus on tangible careers that, have a good track record. And, and it might not necessarily be your passion, but, okay, I can get a job. I can make decent money. I can get a better life for myself. So this is what I'm going to do. And it might not be your passion, and, you may not have any fulfillment, and you may get burnt out, and you're like, oh, I'm doing this and I'm still not happy. And, but now that you kind of have these opportunities, and you can teach your kids that, yeah, if you want to be a doctor, that's great. If you want to be an engineer, that's great. But you can be an animator. You can, you can be an Imagineer. You can be a traveler and be a travel blogger if you want. Like, there's so many things in the world so many passions and pursuits in the world that you can do and find happiness. And you should be able just to do something you love and not feel ashamed about it, and just pursue your happiness. And so I'm glad, I'm so happy that like now future generations of children of color are having those opportunities, and I want to support that as much as I can. And I don't know if you've seen that episode of Blackish where they went to Walt Disney World.
Yes.
That's pretty much the story. It's like, when he was a kid, he couldn't afford, he had to eat the sandwich, and they had to get like bootleg park tickets or whatever, and now they can stay in Animal Kingdom Lodge and go.
If they're putting that on a show, think about how many people had that same experience, man. Like, that was my Disney experience. I did not like Disney because my experience sucked. It was the best my parents can do, but you didn't stay at a Disney hotel. We stayed at like the Ramada, 10 hours away, and it was not what it is now. And so if they put it on that show, that means tons of other people have had that experience and can relate to it,
Yes, exactly. And I will take my kids camping. I'm not a big camper.
Gotta do it.
I saw you guys do it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. I would probably do like the RV, not necessarily the tent, but
you gotta do the tent. You gotta do that's next level. That's so much fun.
Yeah. Okay, so it's fun. It's a fun way to do it.
I'll put it on my list. Maybe maybe next year. So
let us know. Well, we can come help you guys get it set up.
Awesome. Will do. All right, I'm gonna let you guys go because I know you have lots of work to do. But I want to thank you guys so much for spending this time and talking to me. This was a really great experience and a really great conversation. And hope to talk to you guys again about any new projects you have in the pipeline, or just to chat about
good.
New things in the parks, new movies coming out, because I'm excited about all of it. I know we're all waiting for Endgame. I've checked every day at midnight if those tickets are released. So not yet. But
there's a lot coming out this year, so we'll definitely have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, there's like a movie every month, I think, this year.
Right?
It's insane. And D23 is around the corner, as well as Galaxy's Edge opening. So a lot going on this year.
This year's packed.
But thank you guys again, and
thanks for having us.
Can't wait till the next conversation.
Talk to you soon.
Awesome. See you later.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Heard my conversation with Britt and Leo from Main Street Press. I hope all of you budding entrepreneurs out there were inspired enough to get out there, grab some cardboard, and start creating. Please be sure to check out Britt's Instagram page and her blog, which I've linked in the show notes. And if you haven't already guessed it, the minority-owned small business for this episode is none other than Main Street Press. If you've enjoyed what you've heard, please go check out their stuff at www.themainstreetpress.com. A link for their Instagram page and website will be in the show notes. I want to take this time out to let everyone know about some great events going on this weekend at Disneyland and at Walt Disney World. If you've listened to episode 2 with Dominique, then you're already aware that there will be a meetup hosted by Black Girl Disney and Naturally Me Events at Disneyland Park this Sunday, April 28th at 2 p.m. Head over to the Black Girl Disney page for more info on that. And what would be better than one meetup? 2. This weekend is also Dapper Day weekend at Walt Disney World, and Bippity Boppity Broke, aka Adriana, who was my guest from episode 1, will be hosting a series of meetups all weekend to celebrate diversity in the Disney community. On Friday, there'll be a meetup at the courtyard near the Boathouse restaurant in Disney Springs around 8 p.m. On Saturday, there'll be a meetup at the courtyard by the Jungle Cruise ride in Magic Kingdom at 1 p.m. And on Sunday, there will be a meetup at the Africa Outpost in Epcot at 3 p.m. Check her Instagram page for more info, and I will put links to both of the event hosts' Instagram pages in the show notes. And as always, if you've enjoyed what you've heard, please be sure to rate, review, subscribe, and share this podcast with all of your friends. And also be sure to join the Afros and Pixie Dust Facebook group so you can share all the amazing pics and experiences from these two historic meetups. And let us know what's on your mind for anything going on in the Diz community. So until next time, never stop deep conditioning or pursuing your happiness.